So markets are freaking out today as Trump and his people are attacking the Fed. What's going on? And let me show you guys. These are the headlines. Fed Chair Powell says he's under criminal investigation. Won't bow to Trump intimidation. What the heck? And basically Trump's acting like a mob boss here. Now, let me show you more. The markets are already reacting to all this lunacy. Bank stocks are crashing here today. It says banks, including Citi, JP Morgan, slide after Trump calls for credit card interest rate limit. I think it's a cap for a year, 10%. And again, talking about criminal investigations. And then you got people retreating, going to safe haven, supposedly, which is gold at this moment. Gold smashes new record of 4,600 as Powell probe and global flashpoints ignite safe haven rush. Okay, so check this out. This is actually from No Limit, and they put this really interesting chart which captures everything that's going on right now. It says the DOJ versus the Federal Reserve. You're talking about market impact and independence risk. So the narrative is HQ renovation, right? That's a distraction, but basically you'll have the DOJ send them a bunch of subpoenas. The reality, this is an attack on the independence of the Fed, right? So that's in political intimidation, right, over interest rate decisions. And then you have the market reaction. And it's funny, this actually is going on right now. S&P futures, slide, right? They go down. Dollar weakens, gold goes up, and you got bond market volatility. Let's listen to what Jerome Powell has to say. You got to hear it for yourself. Have a listen.
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned in part a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation. I have served at the Federal Reserve under 4 administrations, Republicans and Democrats alike. In every case, I have carried out my duties without political fear or favor, focused solely on our mandate of price stability and maximum employment. Public service sometimes requires standing firm in the face of threats. I will continue to do the job the Senate confirmed me to do, with integrity and a commitment to serving the American people. Thank you.
That's Jerome Powell, and you won't see that very often. You just won't see attacks like this on the Fed. I'll just say this. I have deep respect for Jerome Powell. You can disagree with, should he cut more, should he cut less, or, raise or whatever. But in this particular situation, he's standing up to Trump saying, this isn't about, any sort of criminal activity. This is just about intimidation. And basically, Trump's a mob boss. You can hear the language yourself here. I'm putting in mob boss, but that's my words. But Powell always has a very eloquent way of expressing himself.
So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1,
3.2. This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
No,
it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's not new.
So we're going to...
And you get the basic gist of it. Basically, Trump and his people, they just throw out a bunch of BS, and Powell's like, okay, let me look at the paper. And which is a reasonable thing to do. And he looks at it like, dude, this is like total BS. It's basically what I'm doing. I say things much less eloquently than Powell, because Powell's a polite dude, as you can see. But like I said, that this is the contrast, though, when you see like this thing. He's like, yo, we're in a criminal investigation, but this is about intimidation. Let me show you more Trump's people, just so you get a flavor of who these people are. This is Representative Ana Paulina Luna. She says, in July 2025, I formally referred Federal Reserve Chair Powell to the Department of Justice for potential perjury and false statements to Congress and senior administration officials. Okay. So she's like saying, okay, Powell's a liar or whatever. But you have to also put this in context. This is also the same Representative Luna. She nominated Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. So basically, this is one of Trump's suck-ups. I mean, you can see it. Who does this kind of stuff? Peace Prize for Trump, right? Also, she nominated Trump, or I don't know if I would say nominate, but this is her words. I officially introduced legislation to put Trump's face on Mount Rushmore. His remarkable accomplishments for our country and success, he will continue to deliver, deserve the highest recognition, blah, blah, blah. So the point I'm trying to say is, if anyone ever says, oh, yeah, just put all those charges against Powell, just remember the people who are attacking Jerome Powell are the same kind of people that say Trump deserves a Nobel Peace Prize and have his face on Mount Rushmore. You can't make this up. It's so stupid. This is who these people are. And while they accuse, Powell of doing stuff or whatever, this is what Trump is. This is in the Financial Times today, right? It won't get much coverage because, we're talking about all the other crazy crap that Trump's doing, be it attack Iran, attack Mexico, attack Greenland, right? I'm sure there's going to be more attacks or whatever. But look at this. Trump organization deepens Gulf push with $10 billion in Saudi projects. Hotel and golf developments mark the first time U.S. President's family business has partnered with the kingdom's wealth fund. Okay? And you're probably, oh my God, it's nothing you wouldn't expect from the Trump people because this whole thing is corrupt. But like I said, there's so much going on. Like you normalize this stuff these days, unfortunately, because you're just so used to dude being corrupt, be it whatever, crypto coins or whatever. And that could be one of the reasons why the Trump people are constantly attacking Fed Powell, because Powell's not a big fan of crypto. Now let's look at some of the senators' response to this stuff. The Senator Elizabeth Warren, she says, Trump wants to nominate a new Fed chair. So the rumor, it could be Hassett, it could be another one of Trump's lackeys, and push Powell off the board for good to complete his corrupt takeover of our central bank. He is abusing the law with a wannabe dictator, so the Fed serves him and his billionaire friends. The Senate must not move any Trump Fed nominee. Here's another senator, Senator Tina Smith. She says, they're committed to using all the levers of federal power they have as weapons against anyone they see as a political enemy. Whether you agree with him or not, Jay Powell is assiduously nonpartisan and non-political, but these guys don't care. And this is Powell. I mean, he's basically saying, I do things for the good of the public. We do things based on data. It's not about any particular president. He served under both parties. This is actually a Republican. So this is the one that people are circulating around because, there's Republican pushing back. Senator Tom Tillis says, if there were any remaining doubt whether advisors within the Trump administration are actively pushing to end the independence of the Federal Reserve, there should now be none. It is now the independence and credibility of the Department of Justice that are in question. I will oppose the confirmation of any nominee for the Fed, including the upcoming fair chair vacancy, until this legal matter is fully resolved. I think this is important for both Democrats, Republicans, basically everyone to stand up for the Fed here. We need an independent Fed. You want to do things based on facts and data. If we go to this crazy, run everything based on Trump's farts and Trump's random tweets at 3 a.m. in the morning, sitting on the toilet, basically no one will have any trust in the U.S. economy, any data coming from the government. Not that you have any trust now, but I'm just saying it'll get worse, and this is just a total nightmare. This is more. So someone at NBC, I guess they talked to Trump saying, what's going on with this? I'll just read what it says. Quote, I don't know anything about it. That's coming from Trump. Trump tells NBC News about the Justice Department's investigation into Fed Chair Powell. He said it had nothing to do with interest rates. Although Trump keeps complaining about the raids and he likes to call Jerome Powell too late. It's all documented. It's all in public. You know that Trump's always attacking Powell. Quote, I wouldn't even think of doing that way. What? Okay. What should presume him is the fact that the rates are far too high. That's the only pressure he's got. Okay. And then you got this. This is actually from Mark Kelly. He says, agreed. Senator Tillis has this right and others should join him. This abuse of power by the administration is outrageous and part of their ongoing crusade to end the independence of the Fed. And that is so important to our economy, right? It's another senator. You also have Senator Chris Murphy says, it's sad, but I guess true that a Republican saying that a president shouldn't imprison a Federal Reserve chairman for a policy difference is, quote, remarkable. How unbelievably low the modern Republican Party has sunk. And that's what's going on. I mean, this whole thing is stupid. Like, everything Trump does is dumb. It's just like, I feel like he wakes up every morning and be like, okay, how can I do something even more stupid? I mean, Trump's trying to distance himself from this stuff. I think he's getting a lot of pushback because this is just a horrible move to go after the Fed. He tried this before with various people, I think Comey and Fed Cook, Letitia James, or whatever. Oftentimes these things get thrown out of court. No jury wants to, do this. And I'll be curious regarding the Department of Justice thing as names get out, because I haven't seen names yet, but like who at the DOJ signed off in this thing? I mean, you're basically, not only are you attacking the country, you're completely ruining your career and your credibility here. So that's my thoughts on this. I'd like to hear yours. It's insane the world that we live in. And I'll catch you all in the next video.